Steve built one of the best board of directors in the world and asked former Vice President Al Gore to join a little over 8 years ago. As many of you know, Al has been a champion for our environment for almost 40 years, well before it was cool to do so, and was awarded the Nobel Prize in 2007 for these efforts. He's been a very important advisor to Apple and a very good friend to the Jobs family. Please welcome former Vice President of the United States, Al Gore.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tim, and to all of you. It is a beautiful sight from up here to see all of you in this beautiful space on this beautiful day. Lorene, we are all here for you as well, and God bless you and your family. You all know the story of Steve Jobs. You know the extraordinary life he lived. You were part of it, each in your own way, every single one of you. Tim and Bill spoke eloquently about his accomplishments, about him as a person. I want to spend just a few minutes talking about the emotions we've all felt and the outpouring that we've all experienced coming from all over the world, and what that wave of emotion means for Apple and what it means for each one of you. I saw it at the Nashville Apple store, as people have seen it in Apple stores all over the world. You felt it here in Cupertino. It was felt in homes and businesses and dormitories and places in every part of this world. And many commentators were surprised by the intensity and the power of this wave of emotion. What was it? Grief, yes. Respect, honor. But I think that at its core, there was something truly unexpected. And I think it was truly love. One technology writer, Jonathan Weber, wrote this: "In any competition for the most effective and influential businessman of our era, Jobs wins hands down. No one else is even close." But he went on to write, he did something more cosmic than any of that. Jobs has proven to be the one and only person in the world who can create technology products that people love. And love is actually the right word. Speaking of love in the context of technology is tricky, because the technology doesn't love us. One of my closest friends has a girlfriend who asked Siri just the other day, "Siri, do you love me?" And Siri responded, "I respect you." But people can experience love in the use of technology that erases the barriers between them and what it is they want to connect to. These notes that were posted at the stores and here at headquarters and in various places are displayed, some of the messages, on these screens around the plaza here. And I was transfixed walking over just by one of them, one right after another. I'm sure many of you have read them. And I collected a few of them. Mary Beth wrote, "Steve, we love you. Thank you for everything you have done for us." Francisco Valenzuela Huerte from Santiago, Chile, wrote, "In this picture you can see my grandma who died of cancer a month ago, using a MacBook Pro to talk for the last time to my sister, who is living in Belgium. My grandmother wasn't into computers at all, but she was pretty much able to communicate with ease with her granddaughter, thanks to the intuitive technology developed and inspired by Steve Jobs." A mother wrote of her 4-year-old, "Thank you, Steve, for creating a product that brought my 4-year-old daughter into the world of technology. My iPhone was the first device she learned to use, and she loves using it to this day. I will think of you every time I see her face light up while using your product." Charles wrote, "We love you, Steve. Enjoy watching us on cloud." When he left us, he took with him the love of millions of people. And I think that the love that people felt for Apple came in part because of the love that went into perfecting products that erased the barriers. Some of you may have seen an article a few weeks ago by a neuroscientist who wrote in the New York Times how he had begun studies with the brain scanning machines to explore whether or not technologies like the iPhone and the iPad are addictive. And to his surprise, he found no, the parts of the brain that lit up were not those associated with addictive behavior. What happened instead was that there was a flurry of activity in the insular cortex, and he wrote, exactly in the areas that are activated by the experience of love. Many have noted the irony that millions heard the news or read or saw the news of Steve's passing on their iPhones or iPads or iPod Touches or on their Macs. And if that emotion was activated in their hearts, there are in that sense millions of pieces of Steve Jobs' heart out there all over the world. You have helped in important ways to create the joy and love that people associate with what Apple does. So what of the future? Beginning 6 or 7 years ago, in every single board meeting, Steve began to devote the same intense focus he contributed to everything else to preparing for the time when he might, as he said, retire and become chairman. He put it in different ways, but what he meant was he knew that he had to prepare the succession. And he spent so much time with Tim Cook, talking with him, as Tim said, about how he shouldn't ask what Steve would do. But he gave essentially the advice he gave in that magnificent commencement address at Stanford: follow your own inner voice. He has prepared and groomed the executive team to continue. They are the best in the entire world, bar none. And so are you. They and you have already proved it, and they and you will prove it again and again. If you love Steve, as I did, and if you are part of Apple, as I am, then you understand deep in your heart already what you must become, as Steve also put it. And you know that the best way to fully express and animate that love is to direct its flow full force into the creativity and passion that lives inside the insanely great products that you design, engineer, manufacture, and market. The ones that are connecting with the hearts and minds of millions of people today, and the new ones soon to come that millions of people will fall in love with all over again. One of the messages on the screen I was watching on the way over here said, "Steve, you left not just new technology, but a spirit." Steve's spirit lives in that love that people all over the world have for the work that you do. Of all his creations, the iPod and iTunes, the Mac, the iPad, all of them, I believe the greatest is Apple. So keep and nurture the commitment to true, uncompromising excellence that is Apple. Keep on skating to where the puck will be. Keep on listening to your own inner voice. Keep on insisting that good is not enough, that even great is not enough. Keep insisting that Apple products truly be insanely great. Keep making what people don't even know yet will transform their lives for the better. Products that they will fall in love with over and over again. You are part of a rare and precious group of men and women who have the privilege of giving the world a chance many times every day to feel the love for what they do. Tim mentioned that the Beatles were the business model for Steve, so I want to end with a quote that I heard in a new way. "And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make."
Thanks, Al.